Hey Cam, I got a question for you.
Sure thing, man. What's your name?
My name is Gurinder.
Gurinder? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
I just moved into Vegas. I've been following your content for a while, and you always talk about the first impression, how important it is. Like when the first woman first meets you, how you carry yourself.
Right.
And what are some of the advice you would have for me as I make my place more playerish?
Yes, indeed. Well, you definitely want everything to be playerish, as I like to say. First impressions on a psychological level are incredibly important. They're so important that when you make a poor first impression, it is nearly impossible to flip that and get a person to view you in a way where they feel enamored by you, which is something you should be striving for as a player in the game. So you want to create an enchanting effect whenever you meet people, because that's a part of the art of seduction. The art of seduction is actually putting a person into a sort of a trance where they're kind of creating an image of you in their own mind and exaggerating it. And that's where a lot of the the mystique that they cast upon you and the attraction and affinity for you that they feel comes from. Does that make sense? First and
It
foremost.
does, yeah.
Okay, so I want you to understand the purpose behind it. It's not about impressing a woman with having nice things, for example. It's about what it does to a woman on a subconscious and psychological level, where she starts creating an image of you that is probably more grand, more exaggerated, and more appealing because she's creating her own painting of what's before her. But it's very difficult to do that when you create a first impression. Okay. The first thing I want you to understand when you're looking to create a great first impression is you want everything to be on point. Now, a lot of guys, they get trapped into this idea that everything has to be immaculate, elegant, or expensive, which is not the case. It just needs to be polished. It needs to be well organized. It needs to be on point, as I said. So, your outfit, the first thing that you need to think about when it comes to making a great first impression, the first thing you should do is just before you're looking at getting designer clothing or expensive clothing or whatever, everything needs to be pressed. Okay. It needs to be well fitted. Your colors need to match, a color coordination scheme that actually makes sense. That's first and foremost. Another thing to take into consideration would be your personal hygiene. If you walk up to a woman and you look good, and then when she finally gets close enough to you where she could smell your breath and you had stank breath, that would just ruin the first impression. You see what I'm saying? It's not on point, in other words. If you walk up to a woman and your clothes are technically nice, but they're wrinkly, it fucks up the vibe. It fucks up the aura. You understand what I'm saying? If a woman sees your car and it's a Mercedes, but then when she gets in the Mercedes, there's like fast food bags crumpled up in the back and it smells a little dingy and you haven't vacuumed it in 2 or 3 months. It fucks up the vibe. Once again, it is not on point. I'd rather you drive a Hyundai or a Honda or a Nissan Sentra, but keep the dash wiped off with Armor All and keep the seats, if they're leather or upholstery, keep them well cleaned. Have no trash in the car, wipe off the center console. That creates a better first impression than a guy pulling up in whatever Mercedes you like, but it's dirty and the interior is not well kept. On a psychological level, it's not on point, and that creates a powerful effect inside their mind. When a woman enters your home for the first time, you want to think in sensory ways. So I don't care how technically nice your home is, or I don't care where you live for them now, unless you're in the hood. I don't care where you live for the most part. You could be at a very average apartment complex, and okay, and it could be, we'll say, underwhelming. When she walks in, good, clean furniture, and the color scheme of the furniture set matches, and you got an end table with some ornaments on it that are well placed that create a little vibe. If you put up some decorum that you maybe even got from TJ Maxx on the wall, if it smells good, if you have your incense lit, your candle lit, maybe a Glade plug-in in the wall, maybe you hit it with some air freshener, hit the carpet with some air freshener, The floor is clean, right? It's not dirty at all. There's not footprints all over the floor. You walk into the bathroom, there's not toothpaste spattered on the window. You don't have piss stains on the toilet seat, which almost all of you guys right now I can guarantee have. Your shower is clean. There's not like dirt and grime in the bottom of the shower. You see, I'd rather you focus on that than be concerned about whether or not you're living in a penthouse. Like those things, it's not the same thing. You can walk into a nice condo in a skyrise, but if that shit is stank and cluttered and it's not neat, nobody's going to feel comfortable there. No one's going to want to be there for extended periods of time. So the way that you actually take care of yourself, your personal belongings, and where you live is way more important than how expensive the possessions you are. Now, from that point, it does two things, okay? We're not just doing it to impress people and create a great first impression in their mind. We're doing it because when you take care of yourself and the things that you have, it raises your self-esteem because you're holding yourself accountable to being at a certain standard all the time and you're being diligent with it. And every time that you take care of your shit and it's always on point, your confidence actually starts coming off. If I don't play with me and my belongings, if I don't mistreat me and my belongings, how can somebody else do it? When you walk inside somebody's house and there's trash and it's not well cleaned and it looks like crap, same thing with their car, that's when you see people start disrespecting other people's shit. But if somebody's stuff is immaculate, people know. You might see a remote on the thing, and if a person moves the remote, they'll know to put it back because everything seems to be placed in a particular way. A man who carries himself a certain way, women don't talk too crazy because they see the dignity that he has within himself based on of how he treats himself. Does that all make sense, man?
It does make a lot of
Do you have any
sense.
questions about that?
So things like, what kind of couches should I buy? What kind of wardrobe should I buy?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I have a lot of tips and advice on that. All right. I can't get into it right now. Okay. But what I want you to do, if you want to learn more about this and get really specific on the stores to go to for everything from your interior design to your wardrobe and your personal hygiene products, I want you to leave a comment. Actually, I want you to send me a DM with the word date. And what I will do is DM you back. We'll set up a time to get on a free consultation and I'll learn more about your situation, where you live, where you drive, how you dress currently. And we'll put together a little plan of action for you to change your game up to make sure everything's on point so you can create a great first impression. All right?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.